Hello, I'm Janet Hogan, and welcome to this short tutorial, why you may be feeling stuck and what you can do about it. Now, I don't know about you, but I know there have been times in my life where I wanted to move forward, but it felt like there was something holding me back. And inevitably, I would look out to a reason, try to find a cause for why I was feeling so stuck. And I might blame the business I was running, the clients, my marriage. I might have blamed where we were living. I was always looking for some external justification for why life wasn't going the way I felt it should be going. And you know how we create a mental shopping list in our head of all the reasons why things aren't working for us? Well, what if instead of doing that, instead of looking outwards, the real cause is actually within you? And as weird as that may sound, once you can pinpoint the precise cause of what it is that's holding you back, then you can do something about it. It's a little bit like if you go to the doctor and you present with some symptoms, the first thing the doctor tries to do is give a name to whatever is the condition that you're suffering from. And once you can give it a name, you know what medication to take, you know what treatment to take, you start getting well again. But if we're moving around, living around in a fog of confusion, indecision, feels like our wheels are spinning, it's almost impossible to move forward from that place of ignorance, if you like, just not knowing what it is, the real cause that's holding us back. The good news is, if it's within you, then you can do something about it, because you, and only you, can control your outcomes, your thoughts, your feelings, your behavior. This is something that you can control, whereas external factors are actually beyond our control, even though we may think otherwise. So what I realized was that there are layers to this. There's a layer of thought, negative thoughts that keep us stuck. But beneath the thought is actually a feeling. And that feeling we might not even be aware of, because we're keeping ourselves so busy, distracting ourselves from that uncomfortable feeling, just through our business, just through our busyness. So this is where we need to take a pause and actually understand what it is, this feeling, this emotion, this symptom possibly, that is keeping us stuck, and unveil that. But I know that's hard, just kind of plucking words out of the air. So what I did, I decided to compile a list of 150 or so emotional pain points that I've noticed cropping up with all the various clients that I work with. And so I put these together as a list. And you might recognize yourself in some of these: sadness, isolation, worry, gullibility, an unusual one, but that comes up a couple of times, self-betrayal, coldness, anxiety. So this is just a sample of some of the pain points that I've put together. And over the last couple of years, I've been taking people through a list of these pain points to bring them down to their top three. And it's been fascinating, because I now have a big enough sample to have a meaningful result. When I say that, I mean over 100 people now have done this, and I've tabulated their results. And what's interesting is I've come up with the top three emotional pain points. See if you recognize yourself in any of these. And if not, that's fine. But what's interesting about these top three, I will reveal in a moment. So the number three most common pain point that we humans tend to experience is a lack of purpose. In other words, we feel our life has no meaning, and we're telling ourselves, well, my life should have some meaning. Surely it's more than just showing up for work every day, bringing home a paycheck, putting food on the table, being a provider. Surely it's more than just, running a family. Surely it's more than just managing my life. It feels like I'm missing a big piece of this puzzle called me and my life. What is that about? What happens if this lack of purpose, this feeling of a lack of meaning in your life, continues for long enough, it's going to lead to what is the second pain point that came up. You can start to see that these are working in a sequence. So the second most common pain point was, drum roll, da 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 da, lack of energy. Are you relating to this? Lack of energy, fatigue. Just, after a while, if you're pushing yourself to do the daily grind, it's going to come at the price of just not having the will to do it anymore. And then we come to the most common pain point, the most common by a country mile, and that is self-doubt. Now, are you relating to this particular pathway? So you can see that this is a sequence now. You can see that it starts with a lack of purpose. My life has no meaning. Why the hell am I even getting out of bed? So all of a sudden, I don't do the things that are going to give me energy, eating properly. I'm not doing the exercise. I'm not going for those walks. I'm not doing what I love to do. I'm not lighting that spark inside. So of course I'm going to start feeling run down. And when I feel run down, I'm going to have a lower immune system. I'm going to have a tendency towards illness, disease, ill health. And then, of course, in that position, I start to doubt my very ability to get myself out of this. I'm going to start to doubt whether I have any true intrinsic value at all. And the more self-doubt starts to grow, inflate, then that only tends to feed this lack of purpose. And so now we have, if you like, a negative mission statement for our life, which sounds something like, through lack of purpose and lack of energy, keep me stuck in self-doubt. So this is a mission statement for that is the most common one. Now, no individual has this mission statement because everyone's pain points are different. But if we look at the most common pain points, this is what comes up. And this makes me think this is a very good summary of the human condition. Would you agree? That this seems to be where humanity is at the moment. Technologically, we've never been so advanced. And yet, on the very measure of success, if we are to measure success in terms of how we feel about our life and our degree of enjoying our life, our quality of life, it feels like, ironically, it's at an all-time low. And so now I think through our pain and through this process of looking at the most common pain points for humans, this is kind of coming up as an explanation, a reason why we might be feeling so poorly about life in general, why our suicide rates are at an all-time high. So where do we need to go? That begs the question. So when we go through our pain, rather than running away from it, when we can actually go through our pain to the other side, here's what we tend to find. Something that equates to the opposite of the original obstacle. So if we're looking at lack of purpose, what it's saying to us is, okay, humans, you need to find something to live for, a reason for being. Let's call this a sense of purpose. And when you have that sense of purpose, what happens then? What happens to fatigue? What happens to lack of energy? The opposite. It gives us a zest for life. It's like, yay, I have something to live for. I want to get out of bed this morning. I've got my morning routine. I'm committed to it because I know I'm showing up for something that's bigger than myself. And so when we have that zest for life, we take action. Action is where the magic happens. And when we take action, what happens to self-doubt? It transforms into self-confidence. And the more confident we become, the greater our sense of purpose, the greater this feeling of, yeah, there's something bigger than me that accounts for why I'm here and why I'm living this life. The more our energy increases. And instead of going down this negative rabbit hole, we actually start spiraling upwards. So through sense of purpose and zest for life, I achieve self-confidence. This, if you like, is what I call a positive mission statement for humans in general. But of course, everyone's is different, and so is yours. What's interesting is that if you can put names to your emotional pain points, your greatest obstacles, your whole life can turn on a dime. In fact, psychologists agree, positive self-talk has the power to rewire our neural pathways so that we are motivated to succeed. So by having a conscious, positive mission statement that relates directly to your mission, your hero's journey, if you like, where you need to get to in your life, what your growth looks like, then suddenly you're replacing subconscious negative self-talk with conscious positive self-talk. And that's when the wheels start to spin and your life starts to have traction. So the question is that I'm going to leave you with is this, very simply: what are your 3 top core emotional pain points? If you would like to name them, so that you can start to see the negative mission statement that is keeping you stuck. And I guarantee it will be unique to you, just like a thumbprint. Then that's when you can start to identify, okay, what is it? What's the obstacle? What's the light behind the dark? What's the solution that the obstacle is currently obscuring from your view? So if you would like to find out how you can get your life and your momentum back so that you actually do have a good reason to get out of bed in the morning, simply complete this quiz below, find out what your unique triangle of pain is, and then you can actually start to understand the solution, your formula for getting your life back on track so that you can truly start living the life that you truly want.